pitching WAR is 15.1, and that's first in Major League Baseball. Starting pitching WAR is 13.1. That is first by a lot. Their starting pitching adjusted ERA minus is 77. That's 23% better than league average. That is also first in Major League Baseball.
Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew Sistad, glad unite. Philly NY in the spotlight.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 55. That's right, episode 55. We are recapping the Philadelphia Phillies, the Fightin' Phils, first half of the season, and talking trade deadline targets. Let's get right into it. Dude, how do you feel about the Phillies?
I feel fine, I guess. I feel happy that they had a good first 100 games or so. I don't really feel surprised at how things are going. I think this is the exact same team we've been watching for the past few years. We know that they're very top heavy. We know that they're not very good defensively. We know that their starting pitching is excellent, and we know that their bullpen is suspect, specifically after losing Jose Alvarado. So I think they're in a better spot than I thought they would be, which is good. I don't really expect them to hold on to this very slim division lead that they have right now. We'll see. I think the Mets are going to make a surge in the second half, and the Phillies won't be able to keep up. But overall, we're headed towards the playoffs, and we'll kind of see what happens from there. But largely feeling, I think I've pretty much had the same sentiment about this baseball team really since we started this podcast, and it's unfortunately like this is cool and it's fun. Yeah, it's fun to have a good baseball team to the regular season, but like, what are you gonna do in October? So
yeah, but the thing about that, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but the thing about that I always push back on people when they say that is when in the summer during baseball season, it's the only out of the major sports, the only one going on. If your team sucks, like that is horrible. Like it's worse than having a bad hockey team or bad NBA team, bad NFL team. Having a bad baseball team where the season doesn't matter, that's horrible. Like that
yes.
You should appreciate having a good team.
Yes, and hope perhaps I didn't do a good enough job articulating that. But yes, it is fun to watch a good baseball team throughout the course of the year. But in the back of your mind, you're just you're waiting for October, only because of the disappointments of the past couple of years. So again, good spot. Happy with where they're at. I guess they're in a better spot than I thought they would have been at this point in the year. And we'll see if they can hang on to it. I don't think they can, but we'll see.
All right, let's talk about this. Let's set the stage here just to talk about they've had a very good first half of the season. Yes, more than, like as Sistad already mentioned, more than the 81 game mark. So everyone that wants to be a hater and say it's not really the first half recap, whatever. Anyway, so they're 55-41. They're first in the NL East by a half a game over the Mets. Check out our Mets first half recap episode that was posted on our YouTube and Spotify pages just a day before this one is. So if you're interested in that, check that one out as well. Anyway, first in the NL East, up by half a game over the Mets. Some key metrics to look at. Their run differential is plus 63. That's sixth in Major League Baseball. Their position player WAR is 13.2. That's 13th, so not so good. Their team weighted runs created plus to measure the offense is 104, 4% better than the league average. That's 11th. Not terrible. You watching the Phils might be surprised that it's actually 11th every day. It just shows how bad offense is in baseball in general. And then let's get to the good stuff. Pitching WAR is 15.1, and that's first in Major League Baseball. Their starting pitching WAR is 13.1. That is first by a lot. I think second place is like 9.5 or something. Their starting pitching adjusted ERA minus is 77. That's 23% better than league average. That is also first in Major League Baseball. I'm sure none of these metrics are surprising you. And then their relief pitching WAR, their bullpen WAR is 1.9. That's 15th. Their relief pitching ERA adjusted is 105. That's 24th in Major League Baseball. So that's really, really bad. You're not surprised with that at all. By any of that stuff,
Everything checks out. Yes. No, at all.
Are you
It all makes a lot of sense.
surprised? Are you a little surprised that WRC Plus is 11th?
I yes and no. I think it's funny when you watch a team, when you're following your team and you see them, you see all of their flaws, right? And you kind of get locked in on what's going on with them. And if they have a bad stretch, then it feels like it's worse than it really is. So it's not super surprising, but I guess my instinct would have probably had them a little bit lower. But yeah, I think when we get zeroed in on a team, you don't realize how bad or how much worse other teams around the league are. So
100%.
Again, I think
offense is bad in baseball. Like that's
sure. Yeah,
offense is bad, really bad. Pitching's really good.
It's been that way for a couple of years now, right? So
yes.
Yeah, none of that's surprising. I mean, this team has been built on their starting rotation over the past few years, and they added Luzardo. Rangers come back from his injury, and he's been like the best he's ever been somehow. Wheeler had a little bit of a slow start, but he's been completely dominant over the past couple months or so here. So yeah, not super surprising at all. Like I said at the top, like the bullpen wasn't really that great to begin with, and they lost their best reliever due to the suspension earlier in the year. So what else do you expect? I mean, Romano sucks. They really needed Alvarado. Yeah. He's been their best reliever for a couple of years now. Yeah, he's a little up and down, and he can lose the strike zone every now and again, but when he's on, he's totally dominant. So not having that really hurts.
Yeah, and he's eligible to return. I don't know exactly what date, but he's not eligible for the playoffs, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he can come back in like September. So we'll get him for another 10 games. So cool.
Well, he can help you maybe close out the division, but he can't be part of the playoffs. So if you're the Phillies, if you're Dombrowski at the deadline, you have to operate as if he's not part of the equation.
Of course.
Yeah. So just to recap, I guess this first segment is setting the tone. Elite starting pitching. If you're a Phillies fan watching this, you obviously know that. Bullpen has been bad. The offense is extremely top heavy, and you really want to add some bats. If not, probably 2 bats to help straighten out this lineup. We'll get to that. We'll get to the deadline needs a little bit later on. Let's break down the performance so far in the first half. Let's start with the offense. Everyone loves offense. Weighted runs created plus, we said 104, just above league average, 11th in baseball. But for all of you that watch the Phillies on a regular basis, you don't need to really be told this. Kyle Schwarber has been elite. Bryce Harper missed some time, but he's been great. Trea Turner has really come alive the last couple of weeks. He's overall been really good. Actually, between offense, base running, and defense, overall has probably been their best position player, while Schwarber's been their best hitter. After that, Alec Bohm is right at league average, a 101 WRC plus. Everyone else in the Phillies lineup is below league average weighted runs created plus. I mean, that is kind of crazy and kind of alarming because you're 1 injury away from 3 out of your top 3 guys from the offense being bad, and they struggled without Bryce.
Sure,
they really can't. They really can't They can't lose those 3 guys.
Yes,
and that's a problem.
What you said the words you used to describe it are crazy and alarming, and I would also add totally expected. I mean.
Well, really, was it expected? You didn't expect JT Realmuto to be a league average hitter? You didn't
Realmuto,
like,
no, he's getting older, and he's been. I feel like the arrow has been pointing down on him
yeah, but to
for
be,
like a
I'm
year
not,
and a
yeah,
half
but I'm not
at
asking,
this point.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying like, oh, like he was a star level hitter. I'm not saying that. Like, he's been brutal. Like, this is surprising how bad he's been. Right? You didn't expect him to be this
I
bad. Come
guess sure, yeah, that's fair. Um,
on. You were also high in Stott going to the season, and he's
I
been bad.
was high on Stott, and he started off pretty well, and yeah, he's very much tailed off. Um, Kepler has been not very good.
He's been
Also,
a complete bust signing. It's 1
yeah,
year, 10 million. I know your thing is
whatever.
you can't. There's no such thing as a bad 1 year signing, but he's
Yep,
been a bad player for the team.
sure. Um, yeah, Rojas is awful. Marsh has actually played pretty well as of late, but like, yeah, that's the other reason why it's hard to get excited, even though they're a good team. It's because it's the same team with the same flaws over the past 3 years, and they seemingly haven't done anything to address it. I guess that's
Yeah,
what. Now, I guess they tried, right? So they signed Kepler, and I guess they had hoped that he would be better, and he's not. Last year they traded for Austin Hayes, thinking that he would be a decent bat, and he was awful. So every time they try to fill this void, it just doesn't work.
they haven't
Um,
filled it in a. They haven't really gone in an aggressive way to
right. I
fill
think
it. It's
they've
not
been
even.
trying
Yeah,
to
yeah,
like buy low and cross their fingers and hope that somebody works out. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
strategy clearly has not worked, and like they have to get an outfielder at this year's deadline, like, or else
Yeah.
it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Well,
you
let's
should
hold
have
off
gotten
on
an
the
outfielder.
deadline
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, they should have. They
Okay.
should have. They should have had one for a while. I do also want to correct myself. Eddie Sosa, Edmundo Sosa also has a
Edmundo.
weighted runs created plus. What did I say?
You said Eddie.
Yeah. Yeah. I call him Eddie.
Oh, okay. All right. Good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not the only one that calls him Eddie.
Okay. If you think so.
All right. Eddie Sosa, he has a weighted runs created plus above league average, but I mean, he's
He's
played what?
not an
He played
everyday player.
49
Yeah.
games. Yeah.
Right.
So, which
He's
we're going to
great.
get to.
Everybody loves that guy.
He could be
He's
an
just not
everyday
an everyday
player.
player.
He can be, though. We're going to get to that later on.
Okay. Sign me up for that.
Oh, okay. I've signed you up. We're going to get to
Thank
that.
you.
I have a situation where he becomes an everyday player the rest of the season. Anyway,
All right.
so yeah, I think that's. Can you look at, like we talked about Realmuto? You talk about you mentioned the outfield. You're not replacing Realmuto, right? You agree with that? His defense is still there, so you're not going to do that. So where do you upgrade the offense? Well, you upgrade the outfield because you have Kepler, you have Casty, you have all these Marsh. I know he's been better of late, but all these guys are below league average hitters. And I mean, Rojas is a terrible hitter, but at least if you're Rojas, you get good center field defense. But
Mm-hmm.
Casty, you're getting disgraceful defense. I mean, it's just a disaster.
Yes.
Yeah. And it just doesn't make sense to have. Oh, let me add one more thing to this. And I think I pointed this out in the Phillies season preview episode where they just have so many lefty bats, especially in the outfield. They need to upgrade the outfield, and we're going to get to that. We're going to focus on that a lot. That in the bullpen and the trade deadline, the trade target segment. So that's the issue. The offense has been bad. They're relying on the top guys who are great, but it's too over reliance on them, and the offensive performance in the outfield has been brutal. The defense doesn't make up for it. At least at catcher, you say you have a veteran guy, good at framing, good at throwing guys out, works well with the pitchers. Fine. You could deal with a bad hitting catcher in Major League Baseball.
Sure. There
It's
aren't
hard when
many
you have
good
three
hitting catchers, right? So it all kind of comes
There's
out in the
more
wash.
now than there's been in years past, but yeah, you can deal with it, but you can't have three below league average outfielders.
Right.
Like that's not okay, especially at the corners. So we could talk about some upgrades. The power overall is slightly down, but I think that's mainly because they're only getting power really from Schwarber on a consistent basis. I mean, even Bryce hasn't provided a lot of power this year.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching? Want to talk pitching? We already spent
Sure.
some time in it. You talked about Sanchez, Wheeler, Suárez. Nola was really bad and then just injured. What's his timetable?
I haven't seen recently, but luckily for them, they can sustain not having a starting pitcher for a little while. But I don't know. I don't know when his timetable to return is.
It's been the
Let's
best
look it
starting
up.
pitch. It's been let's look it up. It's been the best starting rotation in baseball, though.
Yeah.
Wheeler's ace, arguably the best pitcher in baseball. Definitely in the conversation for top 5. Chris Sanchez has been awesome. Suárez has been awesome. I mean, and Luzardo's had an awesome start. He's tailed off a little bit, but overall, it's still been pretty good. It's a really good rotation. The issue, as we've already talked about in the opening segment, is the bullpen. So the starting pitching is so good, and a lot of them goes deep in games. It covers up how bad this bullpen actually is, and it's bad. And I think it's important to improve the bullpen to win the division going to the playoffs, but it's even more important to improve the bullpen in a significant way for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the Phillies don't win the division and get a wild card, it's fine. It's about, at that point, what you do in the playoffs. You'd rather win the division, but you need to build this bullpen so it's top 15 at least. Like right now, it's 24th. So you need it to be at least top 15, ideally top 10. And like you said, Alvarado will come back, but he's not eligible to return. He's not eligible for the playoffs because of the PED suspension.
Mm-hmm.
So and Hoffman's
Nola, early August. They're eyeing his return. I just
read. early August for Nola. Okay,
so
and then building back up.
Yeah,
and then you see how he pitches. He doesn't have a guaranteed playoff rotation spot at this point.
No,
I think
he does not.
He has to perform when he comes back.
He absolutely has to. They're first in all these major categories without him, essentially.
Can I also throw something out there?
Sure.
Nola as a high leverage reliever.
Sure. I mean,
could you see it?
I absolutely think one of their high level starters should be a reliever for the playoffs. Absolutely.
I think he has the stuff.
You can argue they have 5, 6 good starters. You don't need that many for the playoffs with the off days that you have in between. You need 4. So
I would think that
1,000%.
I think his stuff would translate to the bullpen outside of Wheeler, who you're not obviously starting. I would think his stuff would translate to the bullpen the best.
You do. Nola, see, I disagree. I think I would probably do Sanchez in the bullpen. He spent some time in the bullpen. Not that it shouldn't matter that much, but yeah, I mean, when Nola's right, he can. We were talking on the Mets pod. Like, he's an innings eater, and you
don't need an innings eater in the playoffs.
Right, but yeah, you're right. But it stretches out your bullpen a little bit more. So
you're not. No one's doing. Managers don't manage the playoffs like that at all. Like their stars are going 4 innings.
Yeah. Well, I think that could be kind of their saving grace. I mean, I'd still like to see them make a move for another bullpen arm.
That's not enough. I'm just saying that I'm throwing it out there as that the rotation is really good. Nola is going to come back in August. He's not going to be fully built up until what? Mid-September? Like I think it's an option.
Absolutely.
You also have, Painter.
Yep. There you go. There's your 2 bullpen mid-season acquisitions right there.
I think I said my prediction was Schwarber. Season preview episode was Schwarber's going to hit 50 homers, which looks like he very well may, and Painter will start a playoff game.
Yes, that's right.
I'm still holding on to that one.
Okay, we'll see.
All right, so let's talk standout players, some disappointments. So guys that exceeded expectations, I think, would you agree? I listed here Suárez and Sanchez. Would you agree with that?
I mean, yes, absolutely. Schwarber also has to be mentioned, but yeah, the biggest. You think
Schwarber's exceeded expectations?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's finally, the knock on him during his Phillies tenure is, all he does is hit home runs, and that's great. But he's brought his average up this year. He's walked a lot more this year, so that's great. That's awesome to see.
He's been better.
Yeah, not that he hadn't had that in him, but just specifically his time with the Phillies has been very much home run or strikeout. So whatever. Yeah, but I think the biggest surprise is Ranger, just because he's been so good and
It wasn't
nobody
good
kind
last
of
year.
really knew. Yeah, right, exactly. And nobody really knew like what he was going to be. Coming back off of last year and then off of some injury, like during spring training and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. And he's just been awesome. I love that guy.
And Trey hasn't really exceeded expectations. He's kind of done what you'd expect, and
He's
so
been great. Yeah, I think he didn't really have a very good year last year, so it's nice to see him like play well consistently for 100 games here. So hopefully he can continue that for the next couple months.
about underwhelming performances. You got guys that have been disappointing or underperformed your expectations or expectations in general. We talked about Realmuto. Apparently, you aren't that surprised by this, though. By Realmuto, we talked about that already. We don't get into it that much.
Yeah. Again, I think, like you said, I wouldn't really expect it to be this bad, but he's been on a downward trajectory for a while now. I mean, it's great that his defense is still there. Pitchers love pitching to him, so that's all well and good. But yeah, his hitting has certainly been a big disappointment. Really big disappointment. I think I've certainly been a little disappointed by Stott. I thought he was going to have a really nice bounce back year. But my gosh, I think like the worst culprit of this is Romano. I mean, this guy is awful.
Oh yeah,
Like I can't believe that he's
can't believe they
still
just let
like
Hoffman
getting
walk.
trotted out. Right? Yeah, Hoffman.
He's been awesome for the Jays. So good for the Jays.
Of course, he was awesome for the Phillies too.
I know. And
Yeah,
Kirkering's been okay, right?
up and down. Yeah, up
Yeah.
and down.
He's had like really
He's
bad
got
outings.
Yeah, he's got the stuff though. So like, a couple bad outings, like will break your year really. So
As
I
a
think,
reliever, especially, yeah.
yep. So I think him might have some confidence in, but yeah, I mean that's obviously I think that is going to be their biggest need going into the playoffs is going to be the bullpen.
Yeah, and I
But
think
yeah,
you've said it already. You've said it. Like you looked at this team and you expected the rotation to be really good. It's been even better than you expected. You expected the bullpen to have an issue, especially once Alvarado was suspended, and you expected the offense to be top heavy and kind of struggle. And so it's not like this team is surprising in a positive or negative way. Just I think you'd say that you're a little bit surprised in terms of the overall performance. Like maybe the starting pitching's been a little bit better than you thought. Maybe the bullpen hasn't been as bad. Maybe the offense overall hasn't been as bad. And, they're a half game up in the NL East. That's
I mean, when you put it that way, losing Hoffman, Romano being awful, losing Alvarado, and like they're still in first place, pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah. All right, let's talk trade deadline targets.
I'm an eternal optimist. I just can't help myself. I think they're gonna win the World Series and be right back there next year.
Trade deadline targets. The goal is not to assure that they make the playoffs. The goal is to improve the rosters, clog up holes and flaws to improve their World Series chances. That's the goal of this deadline, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Okay. So we talked a couple ways to do that. Can I get a ranking from you on priority? Let me give you these options. Bullpen, outfielder. Rank those two in terms of your priority. What's priority number one? What's priority number two?
Man, that's tough. I'm gonna say outfielder, only for the sake of it being October. I think, Nola comes back. They move one of the starting pitchers to the bullpen. We'll see if Painter is as advertised. Maybe they can move him to the bullpen. Or perhaps, like you said, start a playoff game and move one of their other really good starting pitchers back to the bullpen.
Yeah.
So both obviously very, very urgent needs. But yeah, I think the outfield has been so bad for so long that like they have to get an outfield bat I agree. At this trade deadline. Like they just have to.
I agree. And there's a reason I asked the question. And it's because we know it's a seller's market. So as much as a fan, you say they need two things, or they need to get two relievers, they need to get an outfield bat. There's a lot of teams buying. There's a lot of teams that might need a bat more. That may have a prospect that matches up better with the team. That it's not easy to fill multiple needs in a seller's market. So I just bring that up as I also because I have a bold trade idea that I want to get to. We're going to get to in a little bit that kind of works around the seller's market concept, which I think teams are going to do more and more over the next few years with this current CBA, with the current playoff format. I think teams are going to get a little bit more creative. Teams that are buying or competing, trying to get improve, are trading with another team that's in the same or similar situation, and they're just trading for different from strength to weakness. So we're going to get into that. Anyway, outfielders. Let's start with outfielders as your number one priority. I have a few names for you. Now, I think I already mentioned this. I think it's ideal if they bring in a right-handed outfield bat. But again, beggars can't be choosers. There's a lot more quality left-handed outfield bats that seem to be available. So I'm just going to list a few. I don't know how familiar you are with these guys. These guys are all on some levels having great seasons, good seasons, pretty good seasons, or have had very good seasons in the past. Ryan O'Hearn on the Orioles. Ramon Laureano, Kyle Stowers, Brian Reynolds, Byron Buxton, Mike Tauchman. Yeah, I don't know if you don't know, you might not know who all these guys are. That's fine. Matt Wallner, and then I have bring back Cody Clemens as an option.
Oof. Yeah.
Now,
well, if Clemens
most of those bats,
most
of those bats are lefty. O'Hearn lefty, Stowers lefty, Tauchman lefty, Wallner lefty, Cody Clemens lefty. So a lot of those guys are lefty bats. But I think they're in a situation where it's like a right-handed bat's ideal, but we just need a better hitter.
Of course. I totally agree. I would pull the trigger regardless.
What about, Reynolds or Buxton's going to cost a lot more? They're the brand names. They're star-level players. Reynolds is not playing like it this year, but they're star-level players. Not sure if Buxton's on the block. Pretty confident Reynolds is gettable. Reynolds is the bad defensive outfielder, by the way. O'Hearn's not a good defensive outfielder. Wallner's not a good defensive outfielder. So a lot of these guys aren't like all-around good players. O'Hearn and Wallner are platoon guys. You play them against righties. You don't play them against lefties. So any of those guys, I assume Buxton would excite you, right?
Let me stop you right there. Any of those guys would excite me in this outfield.
Okay.
Give me any
all
of
those
them.
guys. All those guys would be even Cody Clemens would, based on this year's stats, be the best hitter on the outfield by far.
That's what I'm saying. Give me one of those guys and get one of these losers out of here. I mean, seriously. Seriously, dude. I'm sick of watching Johan Rojas at the plate, dude. I mean, he is awful. He's always been awful.
Okay, but then you need
awful.
So what would you do?
I understand Rojas's defensive value. I get it, but
no, I was going to ask you, what would if say you, I don't know, traded Rojas, DFA'd him, options. I don't know if he has options to AAA, but just say he does. I'm not familiar with that. You play Martian center field. That's assuming you don't get a center fielder. You don't get Buxton or Laureano.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
And then you just play one of them in the left, and then you leave Casty.
I guess.
The
options aren't very good.
Would you support them DFAing, just releasing Casty? If they get two outfielders, they get a right-handed bat, left-handed bat, say Casty, you're out of here.
I think I would, yeah.
I don't know how realistic that is, but
it's probably not. But yeah, I can't really stand watching him play. He swings.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, he swings at everything. He
swings at everything.
Never ever draws a walk. Ever.
He doesn't do anything
insane. He
doesn't
doesn't
do
do
anything well at this
no.
point.
He doesn't do anything well. He's slow as hell. He doesn't run the bases well. He's like the worst defensive outfielder you've ever seen in your life. Doesn't even have a good arm. Like
No, he doesn't
he's
do
just
anything
not
well at this
good.
point.
Yeah, he's just
No.
not good. And like whatever, he's had some great moments as a Philly. Cool. Like this core is getting older, and you know you gotta, if you're gonna go for it, then just go for it. Okay, if you want to hold on to your prospects and be the 76ers and try to thread the needle of competing now while building a young core, then do that. But if you want to go for it, then go for it.
I'm with you. All right, here's my bold trade idea. You ready for this?
Yes.
I texted this to you, so you're not going to be shocked by this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Alec Bohm to the Yankees for Trent Grisham. Now, this is kind of what I think teams are going to go into the direction of doing. The Yankees actually have done this a couple times. They did it with they traded Bader for they traded Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader a couple years ago at the deadline. They had their strength. They had a strength in number of outfield. They had a strength in their starting pitching and a weakness in their outfield. So they made that trade. They needed a center fielder at the time, so they made that trade. The Yankees' third base position is a disaster. I mean, they have Oswald Peraza, who has a weighted runs created plus of like 64, like maybe even less. Maybe it's like 50. It's like he's 50% below league average. He's awful. His defense is good, but it doesn't make up for how bad of a third baseman he is. I mean, how bad of a hitter he is. So the Yankees could use a third baseman. Alec Bohm is a league average hitter. He's a solid defensive third baseman, just a solid bat. And the Yankees could specifically use a right-handed infielder. The Phillies, Grisham's a lefty bat, so you don't love that. But he has a weighted runs created plus of over 120 this season. He's having a very good offensive season. He's a great corner outfielder. He's not really a great center fielder at this point, but he can play it somewhat adequately.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be an elite center fielder, but I think that's a trade that potentially works for both teams. You have two teams that are competing, trying to improve, trying to win a World Series. In a seller's market, you'd say we have this strength. You have it's hard to match up a strength and a weakness better.
Right.
The only thing that'd be better if Grisham was a right-handed hitter. But I think that's a trade that should be talked about by both teams.
I love it. Do it, and then
you would do it.
Have Sosa play third every day.
That's it.
Let's go, dude. Get Cashman on the horn. Although Cashman would never make a smart move like that, we all know that. He's a babbling idiot. Right now, he's sitting in his office just watching YouTube videos.
Watching Volpe high school videos.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So you'd be okay moving on from Bohm.
Yes, definitely. Now, actually, I know I joke about this a lot. A Bohm has had his trouble playing in Philadelphia, saying there was a controversy maybe a year or two ago where he
I remember.
You remember he
was like I can't stand to hear something like that. Get me out of here.
He said I effing hate this place, because they booed him because he made an error, and so I think that the fans can get under his skin a little bit at times.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. I see where you're going with this.
You can't handle it in Philadelphia. I mean, you go from red pinstripes to navy pinstripes, dude. Good luck, pal. He can't handle New York. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean,
all right. So Yankees should make them
Mets. No,
not the Bronx, not the BX,
Bronx, dude. No way. You can take that to Queens if you want, right? Hey, you can't run BX.
All right, let's talk relief pitching, potential relief pitching targets. Felix Bautista, big name. Gregory Soto, Kyle Finnegan, Raisel Iglesias, Dylan Lee, Yennier Cano, David Bednar, Johan Duran.
Any of them.
A bunch of good guys.
Bring back Gregory Soto. Why not?
And there's again, I think I said this on the Mets episode that we did. There's probably about 25 to 30 relief pitchers that the Phillies could bring in that would be an upgrade.
Yes. Totally. That's what I'm saying. Any of them. Cheapest
one.
But
one of these higher end guys I just mentioned would be probably ideal.
Yeah, of course it's ideal, but I will take
Chris Martin.
average. Average. Give me average, baby. The true Philadelphia way.
You liked Gregory Soto, right?
Yeah, he was all right. He was again a little would lose the strike zone, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like an Alvarado. But
Yeah.
yeah, when he was good, he was good. He throws hard, strikes guys out. Yeah, he was fine. I would take him back in a heartbeat.
So
Given
kind
our
of have.
situation here.
I was thinking about these three options. They can do this aggressive push. You add a top tier relief pitcher and another very good relief pitcher, and you add a high impact outfielder like Buxton or Reynolds or someone like that on that level, and you really go in. And then there's like the mid tier, which is like, let's just add like two reliable relief pitchers and like a depth bat, like a righty bat that can come off the bench or be platooned with Marsh. And then there's just the stand pat option, which is like probably unacceptable, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're gonna do something. Yeah. We'll see.
You can't do nothing in this spot. Like and even if it's a seller's market, and I know it's hard to match up like your value for what the team that's selling wants, but there has to be a couple moves.
Yeah. I mean, if only they could have gotten Cody Bellinger for like a bag of peanuts this offseason, that would have solved a lot of their problems.
I mean, it would have been, they could have not signed Kepler.
Yeah, but they don't have a smart GM, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't think they had an
can't all be Cashman.
All right, so let's talk outlook for the second half. A couple questions I noted. It's, can the pitching carry the Phillies through October? I think that's something.
Can their pitching carry them through October? Maybe. I think if they had a better bullpen, if they were able to stretch that bullpen out a little bit, then yes, I do think that it could.
And then I want to, dude, when you're watching these games as a fan, I think this is like, as a fan, the most disheartening thing to watch is when you watch your bullpen blow like 3 games in a row. Mm-hmm. Like that is, as a baseball fan, like the most disheartening thing to watch. I assume.
What do you know it's coming? Like there's nothing worse. Yeah. You know it's coming.
So that's why I was kind of surprised when you prioritize the outfield bats over the relief pitching. But I understand your reasoning.
You put me in a rock and a hard place. Yeah.
You had to choose one. Yeah, you had to choose one. Yeah, no, I get it. Watching guys strike out and swing at everything is very frustrating as well. So
yes. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I do also want to note, I think that this trade deadline is going to have a significant impact on who wins the NL East between the Phillies and the Mets.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that.
You want to do subscriber questions?
Sure.
All right. We have 3.
Okay.
At Broad Street Bombs. Should the Phillies go all in at the deadline or keep prospect capital for 2026 and the future?
I think they should go all in. I think that they should be aggressive because the core is getting older. Yeah, like I said before, I think if you're going to go for it, go for it. Don't try to thread that needle. Because you don't know if these prospects are going to pan out. You might think they are, and it's great if they do. But yeah, the odds of all of your prospects becoming a next core for the next generation is really hard to do, and the odds
of any individual prospect panning out is low. I'm with you. The Phillies have a really good team. I would go in. I probably wouldn't trade Painter, but other than that, I think everyone should be on the table.
Yeah. You have your guy or two who are untouchable, and everyone else, on the table, no doubt.
At Phil's Fan 47, if you could only add one reliever, who would it be and why? So I guess just go off some of the. I mean, it's kind of a vague question because there's so many relievers, but just off the guys I mentioned before, I'll repeat them for you: Felix Bautista, Gregory Soto, Kyle Finnegan, Raisel Iglesias, Dylan Lee, Yennier Cano, David Bednar, or Johan Duran.
What about Kenley Jansen, dude?
You can add Kenley Jansen in there. Yeah, I didn't think he was a good fit for. I didn't think he was the right fit. But yeah, Kenley Jansen. Sure.
Yep.
That's a good one. All right, one more. This at Ring Chasin. Can this rotation win a World Series on its own, or is the bullpen collapse inevitable? That one is just a funny question. So if the bullpen as is, you have no confidence that the bullpen's going to come in and be able to hold leads as is. Right?
No, I don't. No, I do not.
You can't go into the playoffs with essentially a 24th ranked bullpen in Major League Baseball.
Correct.
And expect to win a World Series.
You need someone to get hot. Like you need like a Kerkering to get hot, and you still need. Here's what you need: you need Kerkering to get hot. You need one of the starters to transition to the pen and be very effective. And then you need one guy at the deadline who's going to be good. That's
I agree.
That's your recipe for success.
I agree completely with that.
See that? We agree on a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
Me and you. Just a couple of...
Any last thoughts on the Phillies' first half or outlook for the second half?
No, I think we covered a lot. I'm excited. All-Star game is tomorrow.
Home Run Derby's on right now as we're recording this.
Oh yeah. Who's winning?
I don't care about the Home Run Derby at all.
Yeah, it's exciting. Hopefully they can put it together, but it's going to be, I think they have an uphill climb, whatever the expression is. It's going to be tough, but they're in a good spot, and I'm very anxious to see how this trade deadline works out.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the trade deadline as well. So, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Please give us a like. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time.
Sports and culture all in one. Catch the fire, feel the fun. Andrew Sistad, glad unite. Philly and